Blog Talk Radio.
It's the music of Lionel Jones, taken from the CD, Papa Jones CD, entitled Expressions. Well, good evening, good afternoon, good morning to you and yours, wherever you are on the World Wide Web. You are listening to Let's Talk, brought to you by the Men Empowered Organization on the Blog Talk Radio Network at blogtalkradio.com. My name is Brother Malachi, and I am your host for another edition of Let's Talk. Tonight, the book of Jasher Latenite, chapter 42 and 43. We apologize for last night. We've had some more technical difficulties with DTR. But tonight, hopefully, we will get through the two books in the book of Jasher, chapter 42 and 43. At the end of chapter 42, we will go to WJMG's this week's edition of the Men Empowered Commentary from WJMG 92.1 on your FM dial, serving the greater Laurel and Hattiesburg, Mississippi area. If you'd like to make a comment or have a question, hit us up while we are here live at 347-205-9279. And when we're not on the air, you can always give our office a call at 504-484-9388, as well as 601-297-2927. Our email address is menempoweredtoprosper@yahoo.com. Don't forget, we are, for the very next 2 months, we will be here Sunday through Thursday. We will complete the book of Jasher. Similar to Genesis with 50 chapters and the book of Jasher, 90 chapters. Jasher is mentioned in Joshua chapter 10, verse 13. This is one of the books that Joshua was commanded by the Most High to meditate on day and night. So if you are jumping on this train for the very first time, we are halfway through the book of Jasher. We'll be right back after this announcement from GOCC, the Gathering of Christ Church, right here on Blog Talk Radio.
Read it. Verse 12. Amos chapter 8, verse 12. And they shall wander from sea to sea.
And they shall wander from sea to sea. That means you're going from this place to this place. Well, let me go over here. Oh, this time I don't like that. Well, let me go over to the Christian church. Oh, I don't know. Well, maybe let me go into Hinduism. Well, I don't know. I don't like this church because this preacher said this. I don't like this church because this preacher said that. Let me tell you, if you were in the Word, it wouldn't matter what the preacher would say. If you was in the Word, you'll be able to see over what he's teaching. But you're going from sea to sea, all over the place. Read.
Amos chapter 8, verse 12. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east.
Go ahead.
They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Most High, and shall not find it.
You're going to wish one day you was able to sit in your cushy house and cut on your computer and see the word of the Most High. You're going to long for that time. You're going to wish you had that opportunity. Soon reading the Bible is going to be against the law of the earth. Soon. They're moving everyone into a new age movement. And the only thing you can believe in is yourself. And you are being programmed. That's going to be the belief system. Yourself. That's the new age movement. How great bed with Satan. That's the truth. Not one of them are with the Most High. Why? Because this kingdom was given into the hand of Satan. Job 9:24 tells you the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. So in order for you to rule in this government, you must go to Satan to get your power. He tried to offer it to Christ. Christ denied it. But who took it? All the governments in this earth who will soon pay. They live lavishly in this earth off the bones, blood, sweat, and tears of the children of Israel. Yes, but now they have to pay. It's time. All these wars in the earth are culminating. They're leading to their own demise. And we're just the people with no weapons. This is our weapon. The only thing we have is this, Christ, in the name of the Most High, and we'll win.
It's the music and words of the Gathering of Christ Church. You can find them at www.gatheringofchrist.org. Also, at that website, you will find much needed resources right there at the website, including the book of Jasher, as well as other books such as the book of Josephus, as well as the Apocrypha books, the missing 14 books, and the book of Jasher, which is on tonight as we do this study of the book of Jasher, chapter 42 and 43. Don't forget, the Biblical Hebrew Academy is getting started promptly September the 22nd. So for more information, send an email to the elders at the gathering as one, the number one, at AOL.com. Gathering as one, the number one, at AOL.com. And they'll send you much needed information about registering for the Hebrew Academy. And you definitely want to take advantage of that. I guarantee you, you're going to learn a whole lot. I am a graduate of the Hebrew Academy. And with just those 3 months, I have learned so much, and now I understand the Bible fully, completely, especially the Old Testament, which never left. Found that out. Yes, they both work together, the Old and the New. So let me just not go and jump on another point right here. Let me stay focused with the book of Jasher. So another quick music break, and we will go into Jasher chapter 42, starting with verse 1. For those of you all who do not have the book of Jasher and you're listening to us via phone, it is similar to chapter 37 in Genesis. We're getting into Joseph now. So you definitely want to check a little bit of that out. It is not exactly like Jasher, but Jasher has more details. Once again, it's just like the Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, giving you an eyewitness account of Christ's ministry here on the earth. Just to let you know who the players are when you hear this, the descendants of the 12 tribes. But right now we hadn't gotten to 2 because in 42 and 43, they have not been born yet. But their father is alive, and that is going to be Joseph. And Joseph is the father of Manasseh and Ephraim. And in today's descendants, they are the Cubans and the Puerto Ricans, which is Manasseh and Ephraim. Ephraim, the Puerto Ricans, Manasseh is the Cubans. The book of Jasher, chapter 42. Real quickly, Asher is the Argentinians and the Brazilians. Benjamin is the tribe of, Benjamin, the tribe of Benjamin is the Jamaicans. The tribe of Gad is the North American Indians. The tribe of Issachar is the Mexicans in Mexico and Central America area. The tribe of Judah the African American so-called Negroes here in the U.S. and Canada. The tribe of Levi. The tribe of Levi are the Haitians of Haiti. Naphtali, the Hawaiians and Pacific Islanders. Reuben, the tribe of Reuben is the Australians, the Aborigines of Australia, as well as the Seminole Indians of Florida. The tribe of Simeon are the Dominicans in the Dominican Republic. And last but not least, Zebulon, the Panamanians in Panama. So these are where the descendants of these tribes, of these brothers, have been scattered throughout the earth. And this is referring to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 15 through 68. Now, the prophecy on the brothers is located in Genesis chapter 49. Yes, is that right? Yeah, Genesis chapter 49. Let's go to that real quick and let me be sure. I think I am right on that. Genesis chapter 49, because Jacob is going to give a prophecy concerning his sons. Yep. I'm right. Genesis chapter 49. That's where you will find the prophecies of each tribe that we are. So another quick music break, and we'll go into Jasher chapter 42.
I wanna call my home. Sunny war no more. Live in Shalom. Only 144,000 of Jacob will make it in. It's Christ your friend. No need to pretend. Here's the question: did you walk in faith or did you walk in sin? Did you keep the law or did you pick and choose? Did you tell the truth about who's the real Jew? There's no excuse. You had the truth, but you closed the book and turned on the news. And when Christ breaks the sky, every satellite will fall from space, hit the earth and die, and then fight after disaster from the master. Puzzle faces looking for the rapture. True, the day that Christ provides first, so they can partake heaven here on earth.
American dream, a family, a dog, a picket fence, and a house that is clean. That's the root of happiness is led me astray. The root of evil is money, it ain't the most highway. 144,000 will bask in his glory. Life is an apartment building because there's more than one story. I accepted the most high, and what was I on? Data past like Mike, and I'm the future like LeBron. I follow the commandments because the most high said so. Red Bull and Xbox will get your wings in a halo. My people is flying, and it's making me sick. Just because you repent ain't putting you on that list. Ain't no cutting in line, ain't no paying the dough, man. Don't matter if you're rich or whether you're poor, man. If you're obedient and you're filled with the faith, then the upper room will be your final resting place, and that's heaven. The throne of the Father, you still sinning, don't even bother. You not going if you follow John Carter. A little Wayne, he another Carter. From Obama back to Jimmy Carter. America not Babylon, it's just a daughter. Told us for the bitches I try like 3/4. Son's gonna die, you make it call a martyr. Don't elevate your mind, let it cross the expansion. I want a room in a heavenly mansion. Don't try to figure it out, your path, don't let it choose you. You can play it back, I'm not trying to confuse you. Poetical prophet, truth that we the gifted. Cerebral technician, the microphone I lifted. Thinking you can take to get in, you can save it. Signing off quad to 6-foot David.
Let me tell you what it feel like. Real right, so I'm back in the feel like. Examine yourself before the judge come in the heat of the night like O'Connor. So I'm gonna show you how to live it when I spit it through the spirit. Hope you feel it, cause it's the spirit that teaches when you hear it. So when it's death there, it's death there. So don't step there. But self-rearrange and let the Most High change my brother. That's what I utter with them dead bone tangs. Eat them, the strange fruit that used to hang. Now spitting out truth for the youth to change. To see us like heaven. When them guns down, when the word is your weapon and the Lord to your weapon. Not Baal, but our master in heaven. And there's no more jails for the nation. That's heaven. That's heaven. Heaven.
And we are beginning to go ahead and get into Jasher chapter 42. Jasher chapter 42, verse 1. And they went and sat on the opposite side, about the distance of a bow shot. And they sat there to eat bread. And whilst they were eating, they held counsel together what was to be done with him, whether to slay him or to bring him back to his father. Now, the brothers are now debating what to do with the big head of Joseph. You know, I'm going to kind of commonly, because he kind of put himself out there, you know, bragging about, you know, the thing that is getting ready to happen, you know, and that sort of thing. And, you know, I can understand that. I can remember when I used to get this knowledge, this word of knowledge of what was going to happen to me in ministry and everything. And, you know, you wanted to tell people, you would, I guess, he said, you know, Joseph was thinking that surely I can tell my brothers, because he wanted, I think, in being in his shoes, I think he wanted his brothers to be proud of him. And he just was not mature to go ahead and express him that way. But if you've been with us the previous chapters, these brothers, under the anointing of the Most High, just came from all these battles. And now they are in peacetime. They just destroyed cities, men, hundreds, thousands of them. And you can't destroy the 12 tribes, because the fame has gone across what we call North Africa, or you can say Canaan land or Cush land, that they have literally been destroying cities and taking all the spoils. This is how strong the 12 tribes are. I want to emphasize it that way because I believe Christ was trying to show his disciples the power that the 12 tribes had, and show them anything is possible, because the brothers had the anointing and was not afraid of anyone, or was not afraid of how many. And you will get the understanding when you see this, when we get to chapter 52 and 53, and we are well approaching it fast at the rate we're going. You're going to see something. When I read it, I saw and I caught it, and I understood the anointing that the Most High gave us, and we still got it. It says, "This is with us forever, Israel." We have this type of anointing forever. But the word says, "My people," in Hosea 4:6, "my people perish for lack of knowledge." So Israel, let's get this knowledge back and obey the Most High. Verse 2, they were holding the council when they lifted up their eyes and saw, and behold, there was a company of Ishmaelites coming at a distance by the road of Gilead, going down to Egypt. Verse 3, and Judah said unto them, What gain will it be for us if we slay our brothers? Thank you, Judah. Thank you for not slaying your brother. Pre-adventure, God will require him from us. This then is the counsel proposed concerning him, which you shall do unto him. Behold, this company of Ishmaelites going down to Egypt. Verse 4. Now therefore come, let us dispose of him to them, and let not our hand be upon him, and they will lead him along with them, and he will be lost among the people of the land, and we will not put him to death with our own hand. And the purpose pleased his brethren, and they did according to the word of Judah. There it is. There's Judah always leading. Verse 5. And whilst they were discouraging about this matter, and before the company of Ishmaelites had come up to them, 7 trading men of Midian passed by them, and as they passed, they were thirsty. And they lifted up their eyes and saw the pit in which Joseph was immersed, and they looked, and behold, every specimen of bird was upon him. Verse 6. And these Midianites ran to the pit to drink water, for they thought that it contained water. And on coming before the pit, they heard the voice of Joseph crying and weeping in the pit. And they looked down into the pit, and they saw, and behold, there was a youth of comely appearance and well favored. 7. And they called unto him and said, What art thou, and who brought thee hither, and who placed thee in the pit in the wilderness? And they all assist to raise up Joseph, and they drew him out, and brought him up from the pit, and took him, and went away on their journey, and passed by his brethren. Verse 8. And these said unto them, Why do you do this, to take our servant from us, and to go away? Surely we placed his youth in the pit, because he rebelled against us. And you come and bring him up, and led him away. Now then, give us back our servant. 9. And the Midianites answered and said unto the sons of Jacob, Is this your servant, or does this man attend you? Peradventure you are all his servants, for he is more comely and well favored than any of you. And why do you all speak falsely unto us? They were called on the carpet by the Midianites. Verse 10. Now therefore we will not listen to your words, nor attend to you, for we found the youth in the pit in the wilderness, and we took him. We will therefore go on. 11. And all the sons of Jacob approached them, and rose up to them, and said unto them, Give us back our servant. And why will you all die by the edge of the sword? And the Midianites cried out against them, and they drew their sword, and approached to fight with the sons of Jacob. Verse 12. Now get this. Guess who's checking this out? Simeon. And who is Simeon? Don't all of you all say that at once now. Simeon are the Dominicans. 12. And behold, Simeon rose up from his seat against them, and sprang upon the ground, and drew his sword, and approached the Midianites. And he gave a terrible shout before them, so that his shouting was heard at a distance. And the earth shook at Simeon's shouting. Y'all, we've got that in us. Yes, the Most High has that already in us. Verse 13, and we're finding that out rapidly, very, very soon. We got it. We got it. Verse 13, and the Midianites were terrified on account of Simeon and the noise of his shouting, and they fell upon their faces and were exceedingly alarmed. Now, just remember that Joshua, let's fast forward. Joshua is going to march around Jericho. Joshua is leading the children of Israel around Jericho, and they're going to give out a shout. Now, this is in Genesis about Joshua, so you will know that Joshua meditated on this, and guess what happened to Jericho? The walls fell. Verse 14, and Simeon said unto them, verily I am Simeon, the son of Jacob the Hebrew, who have only with my brother destroyed the city of Shechem. He's just reminding them of their past victories of Shechem and the cities of the Amorites. So shall the Most High moreover do unto me, that if all your brethren, the people of Midian, and also the king of Canaan, were to come with you, they could not fight against me. And he means what he says. Verse 15, now therefore give us back the youth whom you have taken, lest I give your flesh to the birds of the skies and the beasts of the earth. Verse 16, and the Midianites were more afraid of Simeon, and they approached the sons of Jacob with terror and fright, and with pathetic words, saying, 17, surely you have said that the young man is your servant, and that he rebelled against you, and therefore you placed him in the pit. What then will you do with a servant who rebels against his master? Now therefore sell him unto us, and we will give you all that you require for him. And the Most High was pleased to do this in order that the sons of Jacob should not slay their brother. 18. And the Midianites saw that Joseph was of a comely appearance and well favored. They desired him in their hearts and were urged to purchase him from his brethren. 19. And the sons of Jacob hearkened to the Midianites, and they sold their brother Joseph to them for 20 pieces of silver. And Reuben, you know, the Australians, their brother was not with them. And the Midianites took Joseph and continued their journey to Gilead. 20. They were going along the road, and the Midianites repented of what they had done in having purchased the young man, and one said to the other, what is this thing that we have done in taking this youth from the Hebrew, who is of comely appearance and well favored? They must have recognized the anointing on Joseph, and they repeated this about 3 times now. Who is of comely appearance and well favored. Verse 21. Verse 21 mentions, perhaps this youth is stolen from the land of the Hebrews, and why then have we done this thing? And if he should be sought for and found in our hands, we shall die through him. Verse 22. Now surely handy and powerful men have sold him to us. The strength of one of whom you saw this day, perhaps they stole him from his land with their might and with their powerful arm, and have therefore sold him to us for the small value which we gave unto them. Verse 23, and whilst they were thus discouraging together, they looked, and behold, the company of Ishmaelites, which was coming at first, and which the sons of Jacob saw was advancing towards the Midianites, and the Midianites said to each other, "Come, let us sell this youth to the company of Ishmaelites who are coming toward us, and we will take for him the little that we gave for him, and we will be delivered from this evil." 24. Remember, the scripture says, "I will bless those that bless you, and I will curse those that curse you." That's what these Ishmaelites were thinking about. And they did so. And they reached the Ishmaelites, and the Midianites sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver, which they had given for him to his brethren. 25. And the Midianites went on their road to Gilead. And the Ishmaelites took Joseph, and they let him ride upon one of the camels, and they were leading him to Egypt. 26. And Joseph heard that the Ishmaelites were proceeding to Egypt, and Joseph lamented and wept at this thing, that he was to be so far removed from the land of Canaan, from his father. And he wept bitterly whilst he was riding up on the camel. And one of their men observed him, and made him go down from the camel and walk on foot. And notwithstanding this, Joseph continued to cry and weep. And he said, "Oh, my father, my father." Now I'm kind of getting a little teary-eyed about this right here, about him crying and weeping. He's already locked in either chains or ropes, and now instead of crying on the camel, they got him crying and he's walking. And I can really understand this. You are snatched out of your habitation where you love your family, and all of a sudden now you find yourself being sold into slavery. Don't that brings back memories of our captivity here in Babylon, of our forefathers when they came from Israel to the western shores of West Africa, started the transatlantic slave trade, and got to here? Don't that remind you of the crying that our mothers and our fathers did when we crossed that Atlantic and into the hands of the heathen? Don't that remind you of how it was back then? Verse 27, and one of the Ishmaelites rose up and smote Joseph upon the cheek, and still he continued to weep. And Joseph was fatigued in the road, and was unable to proceed on account of the bitterness of his soul. And they all smote him and afflicted him in the road, and they terrified him in order that he might cease from weeping. Verse 28, and the Most High saw the ambition of Joseph and his trouble, and the Most High brought down upon those men darkness and confusion, and the hand of every one that smote him became withered. Verse 29, and they said to each other, what is this thing that the Most High had done to us in the road? And they knew not that this befell them on account of Joseph. And the men proceeded on the road, and they passed along the road of Ephrath, where Rachel was buried. Verse 30, and Joseph reached his, And Joseph reached his mother's grave, and Joseph hastened and ran to his mother's grave, and fell upon the grave and wept. Verse 31, and Joseph cried aloud upon his mother's grave, and he said, O my mother, O thou who didst give me birth, awake now, and rise and see thy son, how he has been sold for a slave, and no one to pity him. Verse 32, and rise and see thy son weep with me on account of my troubles, and see the heart of my brethren. Verse 33, arouse, my mother, arouse, awake from thy sleep for me, and direct thy battles against my brethren. Now that build up and that anger is getting to him about his brothers. My brethren, and and how they stripped me of my coat and sold me already twice for a slave, and separated me from my father, and there is no one to pity me. 34, arouse and lay thy cause against them before the Most High, and see whom the Most High will justify in the judgment, and whom he will condemn. 35, rise, O my mother, rise, awake from thy sleep, and see my father, how his soul is with me this day, and comfort him and ease his heart. Verse 36, and Joseph continued to speak these words, and Joseph cried aloud and wept bitterly upon his mother's grave, and he ceased speaking, and from bitterness of heart he became still as a stone up on the grave. 37, and Joseph heard a voice speaking to him from beneath the ground, which answered him with bitterness of heart, and with a voice of weeping and praying in these words. Verse 38, my son Joseph, I have heard the voice of thy weeping and the voice of thy lamentation. I have seen thy tears. I know thy trouble, my son, and it grieves me for thy sake. And abundant grief is added to my grief. 39, and therefore, my son Joseph, my son, hope to the Most High, and wait for him, and do not fear, and the Most High is with thee, and he will deliver thee from all troubles. Verse 40, rise, my son, go down unto Egypt with thy masters, and do not fear, for the Most High is with thee, my son. And she continued to speak like unto these words unto Joseph, and she was still. Verse 41, and Joseph heard this, and he wondered greatly at this, and he continued to weep. And after this, one of the Ishmaelites observed him crying and weeping upon the grave, and his anger was kindled against him, and he drove him from there, and he smote him and cursed him. Verse 42, and Joseph said unto the men, may I find grace in your sight to take me back to my father's house, and he will give you abundance of riches. Verse 43, and they answered him, saying, art thou not a slave? And where is thy father? And if thou hast a father, thou would not already twice have been sold for a slave for so little value. And their anger was still roused against him, and they continued to smite him and to chastise him. And Joseph wept bitterly. And the Most High saw Joseph's affliction, and the Most High again smote these men. Okay, bear with me right now. One moment, please. Verse 44. And the Most High saw Joseph's affliction, and the Most High smote these men, and chastised them, said the Most High, caused darkness to envelop them upon the earth. And the lightning flashed, and the thunder roared, and the earth shook at the voice of thunder and of the mighty wind, and the men were terrified and knew not where they should go. Verse 45, and the beast and the camel stood still, and they led them, but they would not go. They smote them, and they crouched upon the ground. And the men said to each other, what is that the God has done to us? what are our transgressions, and what are our sins, that this thing has thus befallen us? Verse 46. Verse 46. And one of them answered and said unto them, perhaps on account of the sin of affliction, this slave has this thing happened this day to us. Now therefore implore him strongly to forgive us, and then we shall know on whose account this evil befalleth us. And if God shall have accomplished over us, then we shall know that all this cometh to us on account of the sin of affliction, this slave. Verse 47. And the men did so, and the supplicated Joseph, and pressed him to forgive them. And they said, we have sinned to the Most High and to thee. Now therefore vouchsafe to request of thy God, that he shall put away this debt from among us, for we have sinned to him. Verse 48. And Joseph did according to their words, and the Lord hearkened to Joseph, and the Lord put away the plague which he had inflicted upon those men on account of Joseph. And the beast rose upon from the ground, and they conducted them, and they went on. And the raging storm abate, and the earth became tranquil, and the men proceeded on their journey to go down to Egypt. And the men knew that the evil had befallen them on account of Joseph. Verse 49. And they said to each other, behold, we know that it was on account of his affliction that this evil befalled us. Now therefore, why shall we bring this death upon our souls? Let us hold counsel what to do to this slave. Verse 50. And one answered and said, surely he told us to bring him back to his father. Now therefore come, let us take him back, and we will go to this place that he will tell us, and take from his family the price that we gave for him, and we will then go away. Verse 51. And one answered again and said, behold, this counsel is very good, but we cannot do so, for the way is very far from us, and we cannot go out of our road. 52. And one of more answered and said unto them, this is the counsel to be adopted. We will not swerve from it. Behold, we are this day going to Egypt, and when we shall have come to Egypt, we will sell him there at a high price, and we will be delivered from this evil, or from his evil. Verse 53. And this thing pleased the men, and they did so, and they committed their journey to Egypt with Joseph. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the book of Jasher, chapter 42. The book of Jasher, chapter 42. Now we will go ahead and get momentarily into the book of Jasher, chapter 53. We just about got about 39 minutes left in the show, and we can go into overtime if there is any questions or any concerns concerning this particular two chapters that we've had. The number to call is 347-205-9279. For those of you all who want to make a comment in the chat room, feel free at any time to do that comment. We'll be right back. Here's Hen featuring Uriah.
I know who you are. Yeah, I say I know who you are. Yeah, stiff neck, we wild, we on the corner, wildin' out, we ignorant, we proud, rebellious.
I know who you are, boy, you need some help. Open your mind and free yourself. Truth and knowledge overpowers wealth. Put education on the shelf and take a second look and see which route you took. Fall in love with a bunch of crooks and forget you're the children of that book. To the enemies they told you, made you believe anything they told you, and left you with two decisions. Either choose death or choose religion. But you fell off Jacob's ladder and chose to listen to the master. Got caught in the devil's rapture. Now your life is a whole disaster.
Yeah, I said, I know who you are. I know who you are. And I know where you're going. We stiff-necked, we wild, we on the corner, wildin' out, we ignorant, we proud, rebellious, I style.
We're the only ones can't see it, got the truth but don't believe it. Cursed with being disobedient, the days enslaved in Egypt. Then Moses said, let my people go. Still we act like we ain't know who was our father. We didn't even bother to listen, and not to mention we blatantly worship others. We went from one to another, we threw stones at our brothers. When they was trying to just bring us back to the truth, there's nothing wrong with that. Like Stephanos in the book of Acts, all he did was take it back.
Yeah, I said, I know who you are. I know who you are. And I know where you're going. We stiff-necked, we wild, we on the corner, wildin' out, we ignorant, we proud, rebellious, I style.
I know the keepers of the law were standing tall, staying righteous above them all. What's the call, coach? The other teams fit with many men that's lost hope, cause they don't know the identity, but I do, so they envy me. Cause you're a nation of people that's so rebellious, accusers of your brother. When he speaks the truth, you get jealous, but I stay one accord with all my righteous fellas, cause we know who we are, there's nothing else that you can tell us. Nothing.
Yeah, I said, I know who you are. I know who you are. And I know where you're going. Yeah, I said, I know who you are. I know who you are. And I know where you're going. We wild, we on the corner, wildin' out, we ignorant, we proud, rebellious, I style to be like them, we try, our own culture we deny, so unaware, we blind, we searching for a sign, I know who you are. 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 Who you are. I know who you are. I know who you are.
Well, it's the music of Ken featuring Uriah, I Know Who You Are. Shalom, Israel. We are here at Jasher chapter 43. We have close to about, 48 verses to go. I'm going to do our weekly commentary. Since it's getting late, I'm going to do our weekly commentary at the end of the show, I'll go ahead and play that particular clip of what we did here locally, here in Hattiesburg, Laurel, Mississippi area. Okay, Jasher chapter 43, verse 1. And when the sons of Jacob had sold their brother Joseph to the Midianites, their hearts were smitten on account of him, and they repented of their acts, and they sought for him to bring him back, but could not find him. And Reuben returned to the pit in which Joseph had been put, in order to lift him. And this right here at verse 1 talks about how they repented because they looked for him and could not find him. I don't think that's in the book of Genesis. If I stand corrected, if you can find it, but I don't think this is in the book of Genesis. Verse 2, and Reuben returned to the pit in which Joseph had been put, in order to lift him out and restore him to his father. And Reuben stood by the pit, and he heard not a word. And he called out Joseph, Joseph. No one answered or uttered a word. Verse 3, and Reuben said, Joseph had died through fright, or some serpent has caused his death. And Reuben descended into the pit, and he searched for Joseph and could not find him in the pit. And he came out again. And Reuben tore his garment, and he said, the child is not there, and how shall I reconcile my father about him, if he be dead? And he went to his brethren and found them grieving on account of Joseph, and counseling together how to reconcile their father about him. And Reuben said unto his brethren, I came to the pit, and behold, Joseph was not there. When they said, we say unto our father, for my father will only seek the lad from me. Verse 5, and his brethren answered him, saying, thus and thus we did, and our hearts afterwards smote us on account of this act. And we now sit to seek a pretext how we shall reconcile our father to it. Verse 6, and Reuben said unto them, what is this you have done to bring down the gray hairs of our father in sorrow to the grave? The thing is not good that you have done. And Reuben, verse 7, sat with them, and they all rose up and swore to each other not to tell this thing unto Jacob. And they all said, the man who will tell this to our father or his household, or will report this to any of the children of the land, we will all rise up against him and slay him with the sword. And the sons of Jacob feared each other in this matter, from the youngest to the oldest, and no one spoke a word. And they concealed the thing in their heart. 9. And they afterwards sat down to determine invent something to say unto their fathers Jacob concerning all these things. Verse 10. And Issachar, y'all remember who Issachar is? That's right, the Mexicans. And Issachar said unto them, here is the advice for you. If it seem good in your eyes to do this, take the coat which belongeth to Joseph and tear it, and kill a kid of the goat, and dip it in its blood. Verse 11, and send it to our father, and when he seeth it, he will say, an evil beast has devoured him. Therefore tear ye his coat, and behold, his blood will be upon his coat, and by your doing this we shall be free of our father's murmuring. Okay, we're moving on to verse 12. And Issachar advised advice pleased them, and they hearkened unto him, and they did according to the word of Issachar, which he had counseled them. Y'all got to remember, back in this time, in this particular time, we were all one voice. We spoke the same language. That's right, Issachar. We have many different languages in our tribal effect, but our official language is Hebrew. And they hastened to take Joseph's coat and tore it, and they killed a kid of the goat and dipped the coat in the blood of the kid, and then trampled in the dust. And they sent the coat to their father Jacob by the hand of Naphtali, and they commanded him to say these words: We had gathered in the cattle and had come as far as the road to Shechem. The farther we found this coat upon the road in the wilderness, dipped in blood and in dust. Now therefore know whether it will be thy son's coat or not. And verse 15. And Naphtali went, and he became unto his father, and he gave him the coat. And he spoke unto him all the words which his brethren had commanded him. Verse 16. And Jacob saw Joseph's coat, and he knew it, and he fell upon his face to the ground, and became as still as a stone. And he afterward rose up and cried out with a loud and weeping voice, and he said, It is the coat of my son Joseph. Verse 17. And Jacob hastened and sent one of his servants to his sons, and went to them and found them coming along the road with the flock. Verse 18. And the sons of Jacob came to the father about evening, and behold, their garments were torn, and dust was upon their heads. And they found that their fathers crying out and weeping with a loud voice. 19. And Jacob said upon his sons, Tell me truly, what evil have you this day suddenly brought upon me? And they answered their father Jacob, saying, We were coming along this day after the flock had been gathered in, and we came as far as the city of Shechem by the road of my wilderness, and we found this coat filled with blood upon the ground, and we knew it, and we sent upon thee if thou couldst know it. Verse 20. And Jacob heard the words of his son, and he cried out with a loud voice, and he said, It is the coat of my son, an evil beast has devoured him. Joseph is rent in pieces. For I sent him this day to see whether it would be well with you and well with the flocks, and to bring me word again from you. And he went as I commanded him, and this has happened to him this day, whilst I thought my son was with you. Verse 21. And the sons of Jacob answered and said, He did not come to us, neither have we seen him from the time of our going out from thee until now. Verse 22. And when Jacob heard these words, he again cried out loud, and rose up, and tore his garments, and he put sackcloth upon his loins, and he were bitter, and he was in mourning, and lifted up his eyes in weeping, and exclaimed, and said these words, Joseph, my son, O my son Joseph, I sent thee this day after the welfare of thy brothers. And behold, thou hast been torn in pieces. Through my hands has this happened to my son. Verse 24. It grieves me for them, for thee, Joseph, my son. It grieves me for thee. How sweet wast thou to me doing life, and now how exceedingly bitter is the death to me. Oh, that I had dried in the stead Joseph my son, for it grieves me steadily for thee of my son. O my son Joseph, my son, where art thou, and where hast thou been drawn? Arise, arouse from thy place, and come and see my grief for thee, O my son Jacob. 26. And come now and number the tears gushing from my eyes down my cheeks, and bringing them up before the Most High, that its anger may not turn from me. Verse 27. Okay, y'all, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. We've got close to about 22 minutes left. Those of you all in the chat room, if you have any questions, feel free to say that question or comment anytime for our general office. For those of you who are listening to the phone, the number to call if you want to make have a question or a comment, you can hit us up at 347-205-9279 is the number to call when you are ready. O Joseph, my son, how didst thou fall by the hand of one by whom no one had fallen from the beginning of the world unto this day? For thou hast been put to death by the smithing of an enemy, inflicting with cruelty. But surely I know that this has happened to thee on account of the multitudes of my sin. This is Joseph speaking on that. Okay, verse 28. We're just about done, y'all. Just hang in there. We're just about done. Like I said, this is 90 chapters. We're long-winded. Jasher is long-winded in detail. Arise now and see how bitter is my trouble for thee, my son. Although I did not rear thee, nor fashion thee, nor give thee birth, and so, but it was the Most High who formed thee and built thy bones, and covered them with flesh and brethren, and breathed in thy nostril the breath of life, and then he gave thee unto me. Now truly the Most High who gave thee unto me, he has taken thee from me, and sure then has befallen thee. Verse 30. And Jacob continued to speak. Jacob continued to speak like unto these words concerning Joseph, and wept bitterly. He fell to the ground and became still. Verse 31. And all the sons of Jacob, seeing their father's trouble, they repented of what they had done, and they also wept bitterly. Verse 32. And Judah rose up and lifted his father's head from the ground and placed it upon his lap, and he wiped his father's tears from his cheeks. And Judah wept an exceedingly great weeping, while his father heard was reclining upon his lap, still as a stone. Verse 33. And the sons of Jacob saw their father's trouble, and they lifted up their voices and continued to weep. And Jacob was yet lying upon the ground, still as a stone. Verse 34. And all the sons and his servants and the servants' children rose up and stood around him to comfort him, and he refused to be comforted. Verse 35. And the whole household of Jacob rose up and mourned a great mourning on account of Joseph, and their father's trouble, and the intelligence reared Isaac, and the son of Abraham, the father of Jacob, and he wept bitterly on account of Joseph. So be all his household. And he went from that place where he dwelt in Hebron, and his men with him, and his comfort Jacob his son. And he refused to be comforted. Okay, moving right along. And after this, Jacob rose up from the ground, and his tears were running down his cheeks. And he said unto his sons, Rise up and take your sword and your boxes, and go forth into the field, and seek whether you can find my son's body, and bring it unto me. Verse 37. Verse 37. Seek also, I pray you, among the beasts, and hunt them, and that which shall come unto you first, before you seize and bring it unto me. Perhaps the Most High will this day my afflictions, and prepare before you that which did tear up my eyes, my son in praises, and bring it into subjection, and I will avenge the cause of my son. Verse 38. And his sons did as their father had commanded them, and they rose up early in the morning, and they each took his sword and his bow in their hand, and they went forth unto the field to hunt the beasts. Verse 39. And Jacob was still crying aloud and weeping and walking to and fro in the house, and smitten his hand together, saying, Joseph, my son, Joseph, my son. What a connection they had with their father. And the sons of Jacob went into the wilderness to seize the beast. And behold, a wolf came toward them, and they seized him and brought him unto their father. And they said unto him, This is the first we have found, and we have brought him unto thee as thou didst command us, and thy son's body we could not find. Verse 41. And Jacob took the beast from the hands of his son, and he cried out with a loud and weeping voice, holding the beast in his hand, and he smote with a bitter heart unto the beast, While didst thou devour my son Joseph? And how didst thou have no fear of the God of the earth, or of my trouble for my son Joseph? Verse 42, almost done, people. And thou didst devour my son for naught, because he committed no violence, and didst thereby render me culpable on his account. Therefore the Most High will require him that is prosecuted. Verse 43. And the Most High opened the mouth of the beast in order to comfort Jacob with his sword. And it answered Jacob and spoke these words unto him. Verse 44. And the Most High liveth, who created us in the earth, as the soul liveth, my Lord, I did not see thy son, neither did I tear him to pieces. But from a distant land I also came to seek my son, who went from me this day, and I knew not whether he be living or dead. Verse 45. And I came this day into the field to seek my son, and your sons found me, and seized me, and increased my grief, and have this day brought before thee, and I have now spoken all my words to thee. Verse 46. Verse 46. And now, therefore, O Son of Man, I am in thy hands, and do unto me this day as it may seem good in thy sight. But by the life of the Most High, who created us, I did not see thy Son, nor did I tear him to pieces, neither has the flesh of man entered my mouth all the days of my life. Verse 47. And when Jacob heard the words of the beast, he was greatly astonished, and sent forth the beast from the hand, and she went her way. Verse 48, final verse of the book of Jasher, chapter 43. And Jacob was still crying aloud and weeping for Joseph after day, and he mourned for his son many days. This concludes the book of Jasher, chapter 43. If you have any questions while we are still here live, or you wish to make a comment, you can press 1 on your phone. And the number to call in while we are here live is 347-205-9279. 347-205-9279. We hope everyone has enjoyed the book of Jasher in these two particular chapters. We've spent quite a bit of time on them, and right now I want to go ahead. What we do here locally, I want to go ahead and play the commentary from WJMG 92.radio on your FM dial. If I can find it somehow, this is going on. But I tell you what, we're going to take a quick music break while I find it, and we'll wrap up tonight's show. Thank you for joining us. We'll be right back.
From the minute that you're born, your body starts to decay. Your skin and your hair will turn wrinkled and gray. One thing's for sure, we gon' pass away. That's right, dog, you wasn't put here to stay. I know you think you gon' live forever. You keep telling yourself you should chase cheddar. I can't front, I wanna be rich too, but I'm smart enough to know you can't take it with you. When you got the cars, got the cribs, ride through the hood and everybody know you're rich. Believe me, money do make life easy when you can make it rain like Fat Joe and Weezy. Brunch in Paris, dinner in America. This morning Chanel, tonight it's Erica. I got ice in my Rolex, rims in the car. I could buy out the bar, show the world I'm a star. G4 flies to Sandro Pay. Look, I know you're trying to get paid, and all that money do sound real nice, but you don't got nothing if you don't got fight. Come on, they wanna be, they wanna be R-I-C-H. Come on, come on. They wanna be R-I-C-H. Come on. So don't store treasures in a place where it rots. Don't die and go to a place where it's hot. People think money's everything, but it's not. The things people do for the guap. Rappers will sell out their souls on a track. Some would even sell to their own mama crack. Rich people got it and they cheat on their tax. Girls sell their bodies and they lay on their backs. Some will buy strips and make a porn flick fake like you're homeless and then walk with a limp for oil and diamonds. So many died, so many nations face genocide. Man, no matter how you get it, you're dead wrong if you think you can take it when you're dead and gone. All money does when they zip you in the plastic is buy you a suit to go along with the jacket. They wanna be R-I-C-H. Come on, come on. They wanna be R-I-C-H. Come on, come on. You got 24 hours, 60 minutes, 60 seconds. seconds, your clock's ticking, time moves fast. And all the money in the world can't buy back a second of your past. Can't buy breath when you passing away. So tell me, what's the value of today? I discovered at last, you're really poor if all that you got in this world is cash. I got Jesus, I'm not a hostage, no longer living in bondage. Addiction's gone since I met the Savior. Believe me, I know all about favor, I know about joy, I can smile, I know about the Father's love for a child. I know what it's like to have bitterness gone. I know what it feels like to sing a new song. Rest in His arms, peace within. I'm a better man, jump free from sin. In my life after, I'ma reign as a king. And I think it didn't cost me a thing. Cha-ching. They wanna be, they wanna be R-I-C-H. Come on, come on, hey. They wanna be, they wanna be R-I-C-H. Come on, hey. They wanna be, they wanna be R-I-C-H. Come on, hey. They wanna be, they wanna be R-I-C-H. Come on, hey.
We welcome you to this week's edition of the Men Empowered Commentary right here on the Pine Belt's original Urban FM. It is Thursday, September the 5th, 2013. My name is Brother Malachi of the Men Empowered Organization. As always, we wish to thank Mr. Vernon C. Floyd and his staff for inviting us here to share with you absolute knowledge and truth. We can be reached at 601-297-2927 and online at menempoweredtoprosper@yahoo.com. And our web address is www.blogtalkradio.com/Men Empowered. Last week we discussed the topic, who was King James? I had mentioned the fact that I did not know who King James was, nor the history of him, till I entered the Biblical Hebrew Academy of the Gathering of Christ Church. Just as I was shocked of the identity of the descendants of Israel, I was equally shocked of the identity of King James. How can this truth be so hidden from the majority of our people? In order to pull this off, they had to separate families, so knowledge would not be passed down from generation to generation. The Most High had a plan to counter the theft of His chosen people. Our oppressors violated the commandments of graven images. Deuteronomy chapter 5 verses 8 through 10. Thou shalt not make any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters beneath the earth. Verse 9. Thou shalt not bow down thyself unto them, nor serve them, for I, the Most High, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. Verse 10. And show mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. What would keep you from thinking that the people of the Bible were not people of color? The answer to that question would be images. Throughout our society, we have false images trying to create an image in our mind that the people of the Bible are not people of color. And yet, many scriptures give us the answer that the people of the Bible are people of color. There are new Bibles that mistranslate words such as from black to swirly. How can you go from black to swirly? Some Bibles would even delete scriptures thinking you will not know what comes after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7? Would we as a people even question the fact that scripture verse number 6 is missing? The King James Version is translated directly from the original sacred tongues in which the Old and New Testament were written. The same way that truth is censored in our modern day media and learning institutions, the same was done during the time of King James to keep truth from getting to the people. Here is what King James had to deal with, and we are still dealing with it today. So that if on the one side we shall be trodden by popish persons at home or abroad, who therefore will mulgate us, because we are poor instruments to make God's holy truth to be yet more and more known unto the people, whom they desire still to keep in ignorance and darkness. Once again, James is showing exactly who his enemies are. This time he makes reference to popish persons. What exactly does popish mean? Popish having to do with popular, characteristics of the Roman Catholic Church. A hostile term, traduce, means to be slandered or vilified. James understood that his zealousness for truth would cause his name to eventually be slandered and vilified by one of the biggest foes known as the Roman Catholic Church. On the other side, we shall be mitigated by self-conceited brethren who run their own ways and give liking unto nothing but what is framed by themselves and hammered on their avail. James also understood that he could be betrayed by those of his own brethren who were only concerned with their well-being and were willing to sell him out for the right price. Sounds familiar? We may rest secure, supported within by truth and innocency of a good conscience, having walked the ways of simplicity and integrity as before the Lord, and sustained without by the powerful protection of your Majesty's grace and favor, which will ever give countenance to honest and Christian endeavors against bitter censories and uncharitable imputations. James was willing to promote the truth of the Most High, and even through the attempts of censorship and false allegations against his character. Just as all the false allegations against Christ, so was it with King James. How many times have we heard false, misleading allegations against our people in this country? We've just celebrated the 50th anniversary of the March on Washington. How far we have come as a people to be treated freely. Finally, I'm going to make this statement. You don't know how strong our people are until you read and study the book of Jasher, mentioned in Joshua chapter 10, verse 13. This will be our next commentary series, one book they thought you will never find nor read. The views and opinions of this commentary is strictly of the Men Empowered organization and not the opinion of this radio station. My name is Brother Malachi, and this is our commentary. Shalom. And our weekly commentary is broadcast on WJMG Radio FM 92.1 every Thursday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. excuse me. Well, that's going to do it this late night for here with the book of Jasher. On Sunday, we will go ahead and get into the book of Jasher, chapter 43. Excuse me, the book of Jasher, chapter 44 now. So we're going to go ahead and do chapter 44 on Sunday night at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. So join us for another edition of Let's Talk, brought to you by the Men Empowered Organization. Shalom.
This is Nana. You're in tune to Rare Jewels for clarity and gems on the beat. Keep it locked.
This is how the UK do it. Rare Jewels Project. Come on. Come on.
Jasher. Hey yo, she cried in the street after watching the pain. Couldn't believe what I'd seen. Her soul tortured by flames. Obviously, she made screams, each cutting my lobe. She said, somebody help me to find hope. Yo, so I approached. Asked her if she needed my coat, cause it was raining. And life had a shivering cold. Said here's a fact, if you smoke, I see you looking a hero with me. I find it in the mirror when I look real close. She turned to me. Eyes tell stories and songs. She said, well, if you look and find that your reflection is gone. Must admit it had me shook, feeling pain that strong. Cause when she spoke, it's like compassion was a slave to her tongue. I said, talk to me, tell me where it all stems from. She said, walk with me, where do I start? She wished her heart would stop beating like that of her son's. And she had drunk herself sober, wishing sanity come. She said she held him as his last breath left from his lungs, but didn't know he was involved in the road and the gun. She blamed herself for not keeping him away from the slums, and wished his father would have helped, but he was always a bum. She knows now why he sold, he was tired of crumbs. Wish she could have gave him everything that he'd ever want. What could I say? My heart bled with every thump. She said if I was on the roof now, I surely would jump. She said his name, I dare not say it again. I saw the pain, life had written it on her face. She said the day took my sunshine away. The night sky came and ever since then it stayed. Memories leave a stain, faces tried to be brave. I can't even touch his room, it's still exactly the same. I fade and I fade as each hour passes. It plays and it plays. Yo, the scene just won't leave me alone. I held my breath, I had to think about my words when I spoke. I said, do you feel it so when you feel the wind blow? She replied, I see him in my dreams at night. He and I fly, then I awake to reality's light. Watching her speak, I realize to die to the beat for 9. It's coming like stencils, the sound of a mother crying. Streets is cold, I heat them spitting fiery rhymes, giving sight to the blind, as vivid as every line. I read the signs that life throws up. These are the times of no love, praying for the dough, cause the road is full of donuts. Niggas from prison smoking roll-ups didn't learn their lesson back in jail before they can get their throat cut. Maybe we dumb, maybe we stupid. This stuff for the money surely ain't the work of Cupid. You just trying to clock the Rubik's Cube of life. Some are try from ruthless, others still strive, though it seems useless. So after talking to my mystery lady, I guess the thinking, will it change or forever stay crazy? So as I walk through the valley of the shadow of may peace be with you all. Jasher signing off, down to stay with them. Listen, please, Lord, forgive them for they sinning, cause they know not what was written. How we're living, I believe that there will be a change to speak through me. I'm with you all the way, stay with them. Listen, please, Lord, forgive them for they sinning, cause they know not what was written. How we're living, I believe that there will be a change to speak through me. I'm with you all the way,
Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I stay composed, no fear complex. Though amongst gritty streets, lost souls and petty beef, I ready heat from my pen on a blank sheet. My rap speed is attract me, taking batons from the crippled and weak that's overworked to eat. They struggling on the grind to find time to sleep, or find it hard to dream or spend their money in peace. My premonition, spit like crush competition. My origins originate from them dark quarters, so I spew fresh water for the dark horses. The race for the faithful, not the swift portion, but to the ones that be looking out for the orphans. These fatherless times and sons bucking with nines before they got hair or puberties even defined. So my definition of a real MC is Christ in tan skin, resembling me, the reflection of reality. Hope is living in clarity. I'm with him, Lord. Be with us, Lord. I'm with him, Lord, cause you with him, Lord. The anguish of villains for hatred in children and chain them as killers till their nature is cold as the winter is chilling. It's grishing with pillars, suffocating their lungs and their feelings. Mothers will miss them puppets in prison, cussing and dealing. Destructive resilience, knuckles and niggas punching they figures. It figures they swallowing liquors and forms of kindred. Ignored by the system, so bored in the school that they hardly listen. It's hard to dismiss it as just young as lack of attention. Something is missing, depicting puzzling pictures. We fumble with sickness and only use all the medicine for the symptoms. With pedestals for the pimping, perpetual hellish position. I speculate when I spit this, will they ever take interest? It goes, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I stay composed cause you guide my steps. Regardless of what I face, none of it is a threat. For worse or better, all of my trials are for test. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I stay composed cause you guide my steps. Regardless of what I face, none of it is a threat. For worse or better, all of my trials are for test.
Now stay with them. Listen, please, Lord, forgive them for they sinning, cause they know not what was written. How we're living, I believe that there will be a change to speak through me. I'm with you all the way. Stay with them. Listen, please, Lord, forgive them for they sinning, cause they know not what was written. How we're living, I believe that there will be a change to speak through me. I'm with you all the way. Wait.